Oh, there it goes.
There we go. Yeah. Hey there, all you cool cats and kittens. I am Elizabeth Johnson Phillips. I'm putting a lid on my coffee because it is cold in my house, and I am here today with Jackie Bizzell. And Jackie is one of my oldest and dearest friends. We went to college together. We pledged the same sorority together. I have known her more than half my life, so the better part of your life. We'll put it that way, right?
Yeah.
You can take that as meaning a long time, or your life is better with me in it. Not to put you on the spot, but clearly it's better with me in it, right?
Yes, yes. I love you to death.
Yes. But I wanted to talk to you about, just because I think you're one of the bravest people I know, and not just because you are a cancer survivor. I mean, that makes you like forces you to be brave, I would imagine.
Times two. Once as a
Yeah,
child
times
and now as
two.
an adult. Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us, I don't, like I said, like there's so much grace in your story and just heroism in your story that I don't even know where to begin. So I guess maybe start as, I don't even know where the beginning is. I'm going to confess that I don't know
Well,
where the beginning is.
I will go ahead and tell you that being a childhood cancer survivor has been a very different experience than being a cancer survivor as an adult. It was two very different, affected me in two very different ways. And, I had first had cancer at 10, and I'm now 42. And even before the breast cancer, that shaped my life every single day for 30 plus years. It shaped who I grew up to be. It shaped how I looked at the world. It wasn't something that I just got cured from and didn't think about again. In some way, I thought about it almost every day. Something would trigger it, either seeing another kid with cancer or something in my family. That situation never left me. And then that also led me to get breast cancer, being the treatment that I had for that was what caused my breast cancer. So kind of reliving that. I remember the first time I walked into the chemo bay again. It just brought back all those memories from getting chemo as a child. But I walked into this breast cancer situation, and I think some people couldn't believe how not chill I was about it, but I never freaked out about it.
That is
First of
true.
all, I was expecting it. I knew I was at extremely high risk. I was getting checked every 6 months. My husband's a radiologist. We were on top of it. Every time I went in for either an MRI or a mammogram, we're like, is this going to be it? Is this the time? And in January, it was the time. And so we were like, all right. And we kind of already knew our game plan even before it happened. So I had a lot of time to prepare for it. And that's why I think I handled it the way I did.
I also think it's of note that you just in general are a pretty chill person. I mean, you have your arenas in which you are not chill. Like my friend Jackie will have all our college girlfriends over to her house, and she spends the entire time cleaning. So from beginning to end, she could have a massive house party, but it would be cleaner at the end of the party than at the beginning. And not because like the friends are helpful, it's because she cleans. That's what she does the whole time. We're just all standing around drinking a beer, and there's Jackie with a rag in the island. But you don't do it in a way that like makes me feel uncomfortable, because I think we know I'm messy.
Yeah. But we all know each other so well. We know how each other are. Like, we know we're going to pamper you at girls' weekend. I mean, like, we know this.
Hey,
You know?
I know my role. I am the court jester, and Jackie, you're the maid, and and Janelle is the court. She's the cruise director. We all have our roles,
Yeah.
and my job is to record the story and
Yeah.
to tell it and bring the funny. And Margaret and I bring the
Yeah.
funny, and
Yeah.
you also do a lot of the planning and
But
organizing as well.
it is funny the things that I let rattle me. Like, it's the big things that I don't let rattle me. You put my load my dishwasher wrong, and I'm like, how dare?
The time you gave me the side eye because I put my fork in the sink.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, sorry. In the dishwasher.
Yeah.
Would you like the tines up or down? Which this is totally not important, but I have discovered that everyone is very particular about the way they load their dishwasher.
Yes.
So I have to ask, for you, what is the proper dishwashing loading formation?
Well, for sure you do utensils up. So
right, but do you do knives down or knives up? Like safety first, or just need
butter knives up? And I wash my steak knives by hand. Butter knives up, and then you do your. Oh my gosh, that sounds so anal. The big dishes are in the back. The dinner plates are in the back, and then like the lunch sandwich places are in the front. And then I have spaces for the bowls.
Are bowls allowed on the bottom, or do they have to be on the top?
No, usually all my bowls go on the bottom. I have spots in the bottom.
Yeah. No, don't feel bad. In my house, like, I don't empty the dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
No, I have 4 children. That is their job. They can do that. But you have to be trained to be allowed.
Yes.
To load the dishwasher properly. And only one of my children has made it through graduation. It shocks 0 people that the other 3 are like, if I have to do it a certain way, I'm just going, yeah, that's a no for me, dog. But I feel like, I could load your dishwasher with all of those. I would that.
Yeah, I would let you.
And I like to load the top. I like to load from the back to the front, because it just seems more efficient that way.
Yes.
I really like how we're digging deep into the important things. You said something earlier in terms of contrasting your cancer experience as a child as an adult. I know, for people watching, the 3 people watching this, we did joke a bit about the differences in hair accessories, wigs.
Yeah.
Because of one photograph, and oh my gosh, can we?
Oh wait, the one with me and the violin.
With the violin, where you look like Blanche Devereaux.
I had the wig, the violin, and I had braces. It was like a trifecta of awesomeness. It was a horrible wig, was it not?
It was not good. And it should be noted here that I made a comment that you look like Blanche, and your mom was not having it. I mean, she tore me a new one. I was like, okay, I was just joking, Mrs. Daw.
Oh, but and on that account, when my mom does these like responses, I usually hide her response now, because I'm like, it just doesn't make you look good. Like, I don't care what your intention is, but you just don't look good. My own mother is the only one who does not put a positive comment on something. So I have to hide. You can hide a person's response, because I'm embarrassed for her.
We're going to have to delete this portion of the interview if we're going to post it.
But I mean, like, I get embarrassed for her. Like, she'll cut, bitch. You know that.
Yeah, I love your mom. She is fantastic. Move on, because that could. I mean,
that could be a whole other episode.
It's Mother's Day weekend, and we could spend the whole comment. I mean, I love my mom. You love your mom. And our daughters are going to be having these convos one day about us, and it'll be just as lovely. So I think we need to just say, we love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. You're the best. Mwah. Right. Right. But in terms of, as you were saying, the differences between your childhood experience and your adult experience, how has, you said you had it when you were 10. I have 2 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
And your kids, how old are your kids?
12, 10, and 6.
So when your oldest Natalie reached 10, how was that for you?
We always said, we go back to being like, oh my God, we couldn't imagine if she got diagnosed with cancer. Like, it would just, oh my gosh, and I would tell, and it was, and even, I was like, Natalie, when I was your age, I had cancer and I lost all my hair, and I would tell her about it, because she would, and not that we made a joke about it, but your children, they'll complain about things, like, and I'll be like,
never complain about anything.
And I'll be like, when I was your age, I had cancer, so suck it. Like, I would just throw it in their face.
That is a pretty big card to play.
And we honestly, what's ironic is we kind of started joking about it. I started joking about it more with them like 6 months before I got diagnosed. And like, so we were tossing around this word cancer like a joke before I was diagnosed in January, and just like, and Carrie would have been like, "Oh, mommy, she had cancer. We can't beat that. Nobody can complain." And it just was like this joke we started joking about. But yeah, when Natalie turned 10, I was like, God, I could not imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, and she did not, just to let people know, she's not had cancer.
Yeah.
None of your children do. They suffer from the typical kid
Yeah.
thing of, not cleaning their room or not wanting to do
Yes.
work and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So walk me through a bit about, you were diagnosed in January. Walk me through your situation is a little bit I don't think there's a normal experience,
Yeah.
a normative experience for anyone. I mean, it's got to be jarring for everyone. But yours was atypical in that your husband is the radiologist. So
Yeah.
you didn't you
Yeah.
had more tools in your toolbox than the typical person would.
Yeah. So it was a Monday, I believe, whatever January 7th was, and I go, and obviously I go when he's on, and then he reads it right away. So I get my mammogram, and I go right into his office and hang out with him for a while. We had Jersey Mike's for lunch, just chatting away. And he then pulls up and he's like, okay. And I see him looking at it. And this happened every day. He always read mine right away. So and I see him looking at something. And he's like, And it was small. And then I see his legs start shaking a little bit. He's like, I don't know. And I was like, do you think it's cancer? And he's like, I don't know. We need a biopsy. So guess who does my biopsy? My husband. He's like, do you want to wait and have somebody else do it? Because there's only one radiologist at that hospital. And so he's like, do you want to wait until somebody else is here? Because the other radiologists in his group are at the other hospitals. I was like, no. And he's like, are you comfortable with me doing it? My own husband did mine. So instead of having to wait 2 days or however many days, like a lot of women, within 20 minutes, I was getting the biopsy. I'm sorry, I can't talk. And then, and he could tell from the density of it when he took the sample, he could tell it was cancer. So we knew, and he's like, yeah, I think it's cancer. And then I even got the official path report earlier because he would call and, had access. And so I always thought about those women who have to wait. And, and then he got in touch with the breast surgeon. And so I had everything done, and even my surgery scheduled within the matter of 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And so I was, poor guy. And he was the guy who diagnosed my dad, 3 years ago. And he's like, I'm done reading families mammograms, like family scans. And
so the offer has been rescinded for all of us girls in the College Girls Weekend. We can no longer show your husband our boobs. Is that what I'm
like, I can't take giving people any more bad news, but
he's a radiologist, so he may.
I know, but yeah, that was a very unique thing that, with just sitting there that morning, all that happened, and we knew, and we were like, okay, let's go on. We're going to do it. We're going to lop them off and move on.
Yeah, from the beginning, you seemed very strategic.
Yeah.
And, as someone who overthinks things, my concern was like, okay, is she being strategic as an effort to sort of run away from the grief and whatever she's feeling? Is she being strategic because she's Jackie? Is she being strategic because she knew this was coming? And I think there was definitely, when you go through something hard, it is good to sort of keep moving forward. That's, Churchill said, if you find yourself in hell, keep going. That's how you get through it. You just keep going through it. But you did. There would be days when it was harder than others. And
it was, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to tell you why. it was never really mentally hard for me. There were days where physically recovering from surgery, obviously painful. Feeling sick from chemo, painful. Losing my hair, couldn't give a hoot and a holler, honestly. And here's why.
You look beautiful, by the way. You look like a warrior. You're totally badass. You're ready for Black Panther, except you're white. So that's the only problem.
Going in, I knew I wasn't going to die. I knew I would not have to tell my children that I would have to leave them. I knew that I would be treated and would be okay. And it was because of how my dad died. And I tell you what, that experience was 10 times worse than what I dealt with. And I think that shaped my attitude. My dad was given a death sentence and died within 2 months. For those listening, pancreatic cancer. I mean, who my husband also read his scan, and that was a nightmare. This, to me, and I'm not making lightly of breast cancer, getting it early. I knew it was very treatable. I knew, and I'm not minimizing it, because there are women who didn't have the backstory that I did, that it was like a nightmare. And right, but for me, I already lived through a nightmare with my dad and watching him die. And that experience really was so much, that had me to my knees. And you all know it did. I would text you all through that process. This did not have me to my knees. And you know what I mean, to my knees, where you are just grasping at God, grasping at anything to breathe. That was the situation with my dad. The stuff that I saw, I drove him to the hospice house. So this, I was like, let's do it. I got it,
That that's my dog shaking. That tinkling here.
And let me tell you, I watched my father die before 68, which is in these days is young. He still had a whole nother act.
And he was fun, and
he was enjoying life. He was close with my kids. He was the best papa ever. And that was horrific, that experience. Horrific. And I survived that, and that changed me to the core. And then it just made me a badass going into this. I was like, and that's it. And that's
the thing. I mean, I think, I think that's once you've been down on the mat, and you can get back up, it makes the next time you're knocked down, not easier, because hurt is hurt.
Yeah.
But you have in that knowledge, okay, I've been here before, I know the way up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It may still be hard to get back up, but I know I'm going to get back up, and I know I'm going to keep on swinging. And you definitely have. I mean, how long? So we went on a girls' weekend to Chapel Hill. Our college girlfriends all went to Chapel Hill. How many weeks after that was that after your mastectomy? I mean, this is her level of that. I'm telling you the story.
So I had my mastectomy January 30th.
And you were in Chapel Hill throwing down blue cups the last weekend in February.
And I had my first chemo just the week before.
Yeah, you did. I remember being like, are we going to be able to go? And I'm like, y'all, she's having chemo on Friday. And then the next Friday, we're all acting like we're going to be in Chapel Hill drinking blue cups.
Oh, I was determined.
We were.
Yeah. Yeah, I was determined. Luckily, the first one, other than that pain that luckily ended right before we got it, I was determined. I've not missed a girls' weekend yet, and I was not going to miss this one.
But we definitely had to adjust. You went to bed early.
Yeah. But how cool was it? Even before we had planned this one to be in Chapel Hill, close, even before that, because if it had been at that lake again, that was doldrums the last time, Lord have mercy.
Smith Mountain Lake. If we had been at Smith Mountain Lake or in Emerald Isle like normal, it wouldn't have been able to happen.
I wouldn't have gone.
Spring like normal.
Yeah, Carrie wouldn't have been we knew he could get to me in less than an hour. There was a hospital right there. So we felt completely comfortable with me going. But if it had been at Smith Lake, I probably wouldn't have felt comfortable going just because there was nothing there. Nothing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, your closest place is Roanoke, I guess. So yeah, I mean, God's hand was definitely in that, and that we picked Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
And that we picked February. Because let's just say this, quarantine sucks, but if it had taken away my girls' weekend, I would have cut quarantine.
I know.
It would have been horrible. I know. Just reject it.
Yeah.
So how has, sort of everything is in light of COVID-19 these days to some degree, how has going through chemo, I mean, you were in the risk group. What's for you?
First of all, I'm really not a paranoid, not paranoid because they do. So it's obvious that coronavirus is not a, it's
not a hoax.
It's not fake news. It's a real thing. So I'm not saying, no, but obviously I didn't go in the grocery store. We did online grocery store shopping, or Carrie would always do it. But I'm not a freaker outer. I mean, I still went on my runs outside. I mean, I just didn't go in any stores, and just doing what everybody else was doing. And having cancer and like knowing the fragility of life did not make me any less annoyed with my children. I mean, I wasn't like, oh, I don't care. I'm just happy to be here.
So precious. I'm just happy to be alive. Sure.
No,
let me course correct you. Let me homeschool you now.
No, let me lock them out of the house when I needed to, and just. But no, I mean we were just smart. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how did the process of chemo, I mean, I have no frame of reference for what typical chemo would look like, but your husband is a doctor, so he has the knowledge. How was that different because of COVID-19?
Well, my last two, I went by myself because technically you are allowed to have one person back with you, but I wasn't going to subject my mom to that obviously even though everybody's masked, I wasn't going to subject her.
Because she's older. Yeah.
Yeah. And more my friend, like, trust me, nobody was offering to go with me, after
to the hospital. Yeah.
I completely understood. But it worked out nicely because for my last two, Carrie was working in the hospital. He had to work those days, but he was working in the same hospital. So he would pop over, and I kind of liked just being by myself. I kind of liked just sitting there chatting with the nurses because they were amazing. Look, I had so many drugs going through me that I kind of just sat back and closed my eyes and just, and Carrie would pop over. And so actually that didn't bother me.
I mean, and you did have me sending you music videos of me.
Yeah. Or I would text with my friends throughout. But that part didn't bother me.
That's because you are amazing. Now, another elephant in the room, and I don't know if you know this, and you said you don't care, but you don't have any hair.
Yes. Well, it's sprouting a little bit.
It's sprouting?
Yes.
It's sprouting?
It's sprouting.
Now, you have done no wigs.
No. I barely wear hats.
Now, I have seen some like turbans.
Yeah, if if my head gets cold, I'll put some on. But I said from the beginning that I wasn't gonna mess with wigs, and
I really wanted you to get like a pink one or something fun like that.
I know there still is time for that. It'll be a while before it grows back, but it doesn't bother me. I don't know why. I mean, as a kid, it bothered me a lot, and I wore the ugly wigs, and but I was just going to rock it this time. And we prepped the kids. I was like, do y'all want to be there when I shave my head? They did not. So I respected that. But we were just so open with them, and we laid it all out there within an appropriate way, you know, even when I had my mastectomy. And because they needed to be okay with it. So
Yeah.
I made sure I was okay with it and let them know. And Natalie, she just comes up and starts rubbing my head now, and Zachary rubs it. Jackson had a hard time, and I was like, you know, he won't touch
Because
it.
he has the long. Wait, Jackson had a hard time.
Yeah. No, Jackson, Zachary. Oh.
He doesn't care about anything as long as you listen to the 5,000 words a minute.
Yes, yeah. So Jackson, he, you know, I was like, and before the coronavirus, I was like, Jackson, will it bother you if I, you know, because I volunteer at the school a lot, and he's like, I prefer you to have something on your head if I were at school, but by the time this all happened, schools were closed, and of course I would have respected that, but no, I'll run around, do my runs bald, and don't care.
Well, it looks great. I mean, you have been you're an odd bird in that you are very wide open, don't care who anyone knows, but the who anyone knows is like 3 people you choose. Like, I think you have like 14 Facebook friends.
Hey, I'm a little bit over 100 now.
Whoa.
Because people kept requesting throughout this, because I think, so I don't accept everybody's request, but I felt like people who I go to church with, I'm like, okay, I'll let them. But yeah. No, but I'm wide open, you know me, I'm wide open. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, God has done it. I think some of it is that when you see a person doing something hard, it's encouraging, because everybody has something that's hard. Everybody has their Goliath that they're facing down.
Yes.
And, you know, even I actually think about that story from the Bible in this instance, when you talked about you in the Bible, David faces Goliath and he cites his bravery as all the times when he was a shepherd, he faced wolves and whatever bad things attack sheep in Israel. He faced those. I don't remember. Sue me. But he had faced hard things before. He'd fought danger before and was successful.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, he knew he wasn't alone. And you had that same experience, and you knew you had fought the hard thing of childhood cancer. You had also, had experienced grief.
Yes.
And are experiencing grief with the loss of your father. And so you know it's okay. This is going to come in waves.
Yeah.
And so when you have a bad day, you can be like, today is a bad day.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the rest of your days are going to be bad. And so I think having that framework for you has been helpful. And you're not alone. One thing I think you do well is you have curated a good tribe around you.
Oh my gosh,
and your husband is like next level amazing. Brag about Carrie for a bit.
Yeah. And this, he really, I mean, you talk about, he is the most kindest, most generous person.
He really is. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying I love your husband. No, I am saying I love your husband.
Yeah, no. I mean, he has his priorities straight. You know, he has from the beginning, like God, family, and look, we have a good life with his job, but he is not about the money. He is not. Like, he's so generous, like, and so tender, and the father that he is, and and trying to build that relationship with Natalie, that father, not trying, he has it. I mean, he is so nice. I probably don't deserve him.
Oh, shut up with that noise.
And I felt bad because the first time I let him touch my new boobs was like last week.
Oh my God. Are you telling me that I touched your boobs before your husband?
Yes. I mean, because that's like a part of my body and like, our intimacy. And I was like, and for the.
I was not prepared for this.
I know. No, I was like, last week, I was like, oh, you can feel them now, but that was a big, because he had like helped me, like keep in mind, right after surgery, he was showering me. I mean, he showered me.
That's not hot.
No, that's not hot at all. I mean, like he changed my drains. Like he's just so like, he does not get fazed by stuff. Like, he is that kind of man that I could gain 50 pounds and, go bald and not have my hair not grow back, and he would look at me in the same way. I mean, he kisses my head every morning, when he wakes up. And he is just truly, truly a blessing in my life. And it makes up for where things are lacking in my life. I don't have a strong relationship with my sister. It's very distant. We're very different. I don't know. Where do you put this out before I say, like,
Facebook?
Okay.
It's on the internets.
Okay. I might ask you to do something later. But he's my person. He's my person.
Yeah.
So, but we did almost get in a fight the other week about cooking broccoli. I don't know. It's coronavirus.
I feel like a lot of I like the blanket, like, you need to clean your room. I don't want to clean my room. Coronavirus.
Yeah.
It's a blanket thing. Also, I feel like you can be a good person and still not cook broccoli correctly.
Yeah, no, yeah. And
I mean, now you can't be a good person and fill the dishwasher wrong. Those two things are mutually exclusive. You have to do that right. But
and let me tell you, and this is okay, and let me tell you, and this is not me. Well, this is kind of me bragging on him, but I don't want this to come off as like, oh my, but almost daily, and this is not a lie, he says, honey, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for working so hard. And my son Jackson, he's the 10-year-old, he's very scientific, and he can be materialistic, not a good trait. It's not a good look at all. And sometimes he has made comments about me, well, dad makes the money, something like that. Now, Carrie was the first one to set him straight. And, I don't work outside the home. I do. Before COVID, it was the typical volunteer at school, teaching the Sunday school class, just running the household. And he never makes me feel less than, because I don't want to work. I don't want to have a job. I mean, if I had to, I would. That's life.
And you did when he was in residency.
But that he has no problem with me being a stay-at-home mom. Like, he values that. And and he doesn't make me feel guilty if I'm not bringing in any money, or he sees what I do as very important in our marriage, and he doesn't see himself as better than me because he's a doctor and makes the paycheck. And
I think it's valuable that
our kids to find value in that.
Yeah, and I think that's amazing. He is definitely a blessing, and I think I just am constantly in awe of the way you've kept good spirits, and even when you've had your off days or you're in a lot of pain after chemo or whatever, you're authentic and you're open and honest about everything. And you never, except for obviously when you're playing the cancer card to your children because they're legit, and you should do that.
That's a joke.
Which is legit, and you should totally do that. I may or may not have. I don't have that card. I do not have that card. I have well, I'm the only one with a job around here.
Yeah.
Why don't you get a job? I'm the only one. I do everything. I don't do I mean, there's no one else here doing anything, but I don't do everything. It's just there's a lot of stuff that's not done. That's what I'm saying. But you don't push your problems on other people. I mean, you don't hide them, you don't hoard them, you don't hide, those sorts of things, but you just share your life with people, and it is a blessing to love you and be loved by you. Wow. And I understand why people want to hear your story.
Yeah. I think it's important with that to know at the end of the day, we're all going through stuff. Like, even in the midst of going through breast cancer, like when I was in it, I was still feeling more sorry for some of you all, what y'all were going through. I could still say, well, at least,
At least I don't have EJ's life.
there are some days that, yes, I will take 4 rounds of chemotherapy. And, you have.
I don't know how to take that, Jackie. I don't know how to take that. But yeah, I get it.
No, but look, you always have to have perspective. You always have to, no, I don't ever want to be in so much pain. Now, obviously, right after something, I don't ever want to be in so much pain or in my own self that I can't be responsive to other people's grief and sadness. Like,
I remember there was a text chain going on without you, sort of as we were planning the girls' weekend. And I remember saying, like, guys, we still need to tell her if stuff's going wrong in our life, because to some degree, it's a gift to pray for someone else when you're in the hard, because it reminds you, okay, this isn't all about me.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one that's hard. And sometimes when I'm going through a hard thing, I can't actually form the words to my own grief and sadness.
Yeah.
So to be able to advocate for someone else is a gift to me. It gets me in the throne room. It gets me there to be able to pray, and then I'm not alone anymore. And that's the big thing I think that's hard about coronavirus is all of us. I'm not I probably wouldn't be with you in North Carolina anyways. Let's be honest. It's a Friday. My kids should be in school, but is that we're disconnected.
Yeah,
we're alone, and that's the unnatural part of coronavirus. And so I'm grateful that you continued to invite us into your heart.
Yeah, well, likewise with you all on my Zeta girls, as I call you. I love our text. How somebody reads being like, guys,
Yeah, I do. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Stay classy, San Diego. But thank you. I wish I could rub your head like a magic 8-ball. Would it give me, hey, if I were to rub your head, what's my fortune? All signs point to yes, or what is it?
I don't know. What you've done in your life the past few months, I think things are just going to get better and better for you. I'm so proud of you.
Well, I sure as heck hope they don't get worse. So thanks for that.
Mary is so nice. He might take you on as a sister wife. Sure, she can come.
I don't really know how to respond to it. I love your husband, but I don't love your husband. He's handsome. I'm really uncomfortable right now. I don't know how to respond to this. Am I supposed to want to marry your husband? Am I supposed to? I don't know.
Well, no, we would just hang out, you and me.
Okay, so there's no spouse sharing, is what you're saying.
No, you just come live in the house. We hang out, and
I like this. Carrie will be the third wheel.
Yes. We'll go out on Friday nights. He'll stay back with all the kids. It'll be perfect.
It'll be like that weekend last summer.
Yeah. Okay, that's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother show to which we do not post publicly.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, all right. On that note, that's probably a good place to stop. I am going to stop the recording, and then you and I can chat for a little bit if you want to. But thank you very much for being willing to share your story. I really do think that when we share our stories, even in the hard, it helps people because we are all at the risk of wearing out.
Yeah. Get your mammograms, women.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Oh, wait. How do I turn the recording off? Thanks.